In this episode of Fluent Football, you're going to learn 15 words and phrases that you need to know if you want to speak English for football like a pro. You're also going to learn a quick grammar for tactics tip on how to discuss controlling your opponent's decisions and actions. And you will also hear about my number one tip for improving your fluency and speaking English confidently. So stick around to hear all about that on Fluent Football. So we are going to kick things off by having a look at a short clip from Football Meta. Football Meta's a really great YouTube channel. I highly recommend their stuff. They make great videos. You'll learn a lot, not just for English, but also for football. So this is a short snippet from a video of Football Meta speaking about the difference between zonal marking and man marking. Of course, there is a link in the description to the full video. So we'll watch the snippet and then we'll go through it section by section to have a look at the vocabulary and just discuss what it all means. Here we go.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have zonal marking systems. These systems have the advantage of being unfazed by a striker's movement, and the back line will move as a unit to cover certain spaces depending on where the ball is. Maurizio Sarri is a manager that has relied on this system for his whole managerial career. His back four start in a line and shift as a unit depending on the location of the ball. Independently of how many attackers are near the defensive line, their reference is the position of the ball, and have essentially scripted movements to follow to ensure dangerous spaces are covered. The pros of this system are that a team's movement can be scripted to ensure they know their positioning in specific situations, and a manager has more freedom in where to deploy his defense. For example, he can choose how narrow or how wide he wants his back line to be, how high up the pitch or how low, depending on the quality of each opponent.
So there are some great words and phrases there that you need to know if you want to speak fluent football. We'll start with this one here.
These systems have the advantage of being unfazed by a striker's movement.
Unfazed. If you are unfazed by something, it means it does not affect you. It's not important to you, or it means nothing to you. It's not the most common usage of the word here, but it makes sense. What he's saying is the defensive line does not react when the striker moves. They are unfazed by the movement of the striker. Usually unfazed would relate to something more mental rather than physical. So for example, if you made it to the Champions League final, you're playing and you see all the people, everyone's screaming, all the cameras are on you. If you get nervous, if you get scared in the moment and you don't play very well, you are phased. However, if you're a great player, if you're Messi, Ronaldo, Maradona, and you play to the best of your ability, the crowd means nothing, the cameras mean nothing, you don't care, or maybe you even love the excitement, you love the situation, you are unfazed. It does not affect you.
His back four start in a line and shift as a unit depending on the location of the ball.
Move or shift as a unit. Move or shift mean the same thing, just change position. The key words here are as a unit. If you do something as a unit, you do it together. So when he says the defensive line moves as a unit, it means they all move together. If the right back moves up, the others move either to cover his position or they move up with him. Whatever they're doing, they do it all together.
Maurizio Sarri is a manager that has relied on this system for his whole managerial career.
Rely on. If you rely on something, you have a lot of faith or you have a lot of trust in something. So here he gives the example of Maurizio Sarri speaking about the fact that he relies on a zonal marking system. So basically, Sarri has a lot of trust, has a lot of faith in his zonal marking system. He believes it will work. Rely on can also mean you need something to have success. Let's take the example of a player like Kylian Mbappe. Very talented, very creative, very intelligent player, but also very fast. Very fast. Now, if Mbappe were not as fast as he is, would he score the same number of goals? He would probably find a way to score a lot of goals. Like we said, very intelligent, very creative, very tricky. But he does use his speed to get in behind the defensive line and score a lot of goals. So we would say Mbappe relies on his speed.
And have essentially scripted movements to follow to ensure dangerous spaces are covered.
Scripted movements. When you watch a TV show or you watch a film, the people, the actors, when they're speaking, they are saying the words that are on a piece of paper. This piece of paper is a script. The actors, they already know what they will say when they start filming. It's the same thing here. The movements are scripted. It's another way to say the movements are planned. The defensive line, they're not making new decisions and thinking of new ideas and ways to defend in the moment. All the movements are planned. All the situations are planned. They are scripted movements.
And a manager has more freedom in where to deploy his defense.
Deploy. To deploy players just means to put players in a particular position. For example, you can deploy the center forward close to the opponent's goal, or you can deploy the defensive line high up the pitch. But deploy is a word that we use when we speak about the military or the army. Generals and commanders, they deploy their troops. They put their soldiers in particular places. Right now, with what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, the Ukrainians and the Russians, they deploy troops in particular places. So when you use deploy to speak about positioning your players, you give it a bit more of a serious sound rather than saying you put players in particular places.
For example, he can choose how narrow or how wide he wants his backline to be.
Narrow and wide. Across the pitch, we use the adjectives narrow and wide to talk about the placement of the players. For example, if your players are all close together in the center, then they are deployed in a narrow formation. If your players go all the way to the wings, all the way to the sides, then they are deployed in a wide formation.
How high up the pitch or how low, depending on the quality of each opponent.
High and low, same idea as narrow and wide, except we're talking about up and down the pitch from one goal to the other. If your defensive line is close to your own goal, it is low. If your defensive line is up the pitch towards the halfway line, or maybe even past the halfway line, they are high. I'm always looking for videos and content to discuss to help you improve your English. So if you've seen any videos recently, any interviews perhaps with coaches or players, and you want me to discuss this and explain some of the vocabulary, just let me know in the comments section below and I'll have a look at it. Here are 5 quick pieces of vocabulary to speak fluent football. Off the ball or on the ball. If you are off the ball, you do not have the ball. If you are on the ball, you do have the ball. Track back. When you lose possession of the ball, you need to get into a defensive position, or you need to track back. Lose your man or lose your marker. When you are attacking, but you do not have the ball, often you will have a marker on you. This is someone from the defending team who's close to you and watching your movements. If you make a run and get away from this person, you lose your man or lose your marker. Get caught in possession. If you have the ball and you find yourself in a situation where a defender gets to you and makes a tackle, you get caught in possession. Get caught out of position. If your team has possession of the ball and you move very high up the pitch to help the attack, higher than you really should, and then there's a change in possession, the other team wins the ball, and you are not in a good position to track back and defend, you get caught out of position. Here is a quick grammar tip you can use for speaking about tactics in football. This is how you can explain the idea of controlling your opponent and controlling their movements and actions. You need these 2 words, force and make. Now, check this situation out. Your team is playing against another team who love to attack down the right wing. They like to attack down the right wing, for example, because they have a very strong winger, very talented winger who plays on the right. So this team, they love getting the ball to that winger on the right. When they do, it's a very bad situation for you. So you decide to organize your team and play in a way that stops the opponent getting the ball to this player on the right. For example, maybe you decide to overload the right wing, so there's too many players and the winger just can't get the ball. What we would say is your tactics force the opponent to play through the center, or your tactics make the opponent play through the center. Notice we don't use to with make, but these two sentences mean the same thing. Force someone to do something and make someone do something. You need to include the someone. You need to say who you are speaking about. Other examples. We want to force their center backs to make a mistake. We are going to make their fullbacks play long balls. I want you to force them to make back passes. They are going to try to make us attack through the center. Comment below and tell me, when you are playing, what do you like to do to force your opponent to do something, or to make your opponent do something. Quick coaching commands. Imagine your team is attacking. Your left wing back has the ball. He's running up the left wing. You want him to pass across the field to the other wing back. You could say, pass across the field to the other wing back on the other side, but that's too long. So instead, you can say, switch it up. Keep it short, keep it simple. Another quick coaching command. Imagine your team is defending. Your players are all very close together, very tight and compact. Suddenly, your team wins the ball. Now, you don't want your team tight and compact. You could say, move into open areas so that you use all of the pitch, but that's too long. So instead, you can say, spread out, keep it short, keep it simple. Do you want to learn how to improve your English speaking at home with 1 minute of work per day without paying for any lessons? If yes, then listen to this. Speaking English is what everybody wants to do. Nobody says, I want to learn to write a language, or I want to learn to read a language. People say, I want to learn to speak a language. Of course, the big problem with speaking is that usually you need another person to do it with you. If you want to improve your writing, your reading, your listening, most of these you can do by yourself. The big disadvantage of speaking, usually you need a partner with you. That being said, there are some things that you can do to improve your English speaking by yourself at home. And I'm going to share with you now one of the best ways that you can work at home to improve your English fluency and speaking. Maybe the best thing you can do. And you don't need a partner to do it. This is what you need to do. First, I want you to imagine this situation. You are not feeling well. You are a little bit ill. You are a bit sick. So you decide to go to the doctor. The doctor asks you to explain your symptoms, and you do. Once the doctor has heard your symptoms, they say this to you. I believe that you have a bit of a problem. It's not a big problem, but okay, you get the point. These three sounds are the biggest mistake you make when you speak English. And maybe when you speak your own language too. Why? Because they kill the confidence that someone listening to you has in you when you are speaking. Do you have any confidence in that doctor? No, of course not. Now imagine a training session where a coach is speaking to the players, giving instructions, explaining tactical ideas and tactical principles. But the coach says, Do you think the players have confidence in that coach? No, of course not. And it is the same for a coach who is speaking to the media, speaking in job interviews, in a meeting, pre-match or post-match. If you're saying, and hesitating, people do not have confidence in you. So what can you do to fix this? It's very simple. You can do it by yourself at home. All you need is your mobile phone and a topic to speak about. Now, you can improve your English speaking and fluency a lot just by doing this for 1 minute every day. What you're going to do is you're going to record yourself speaking for 1 minute. Just 1 minute, speaking for 1 minute. You pick a topic, you pick a subject, and you speak on that topic for 1 minute. And during this 1 minute, you will not say or make any other sound of hesitation. Now, you can stop speaking if you need to stop and think for 1 or 2 seconds, not 5, 10, 15 seconds, that's too long, but 1 or 2 seconds, you can stop speaking, but you can't say or make any other sound like this. Why do you need to record yourself? Why can't you just speak for 1 minute without the recording? The reason is you need to hold yourself to a certain standard. You need proof that you completed the task. So when you finish speaking for the minute, you can listen back to it, and if you said any of these kinds of words, then you failed the task and you need to do it again. Now, if you don't know what topics to speak about, here are 5 you can use to get started. 1. Who is the greatest footballer ever and why? 2. Who is the greatest football manager ever and why? 3. Which is the greatest football team ever and why? 4. Which is the greatest footballing nation ever and why? 5. Who will win the next Champions League final and why do you think that? Do that every day for 1 week and I bet you your fluency will improve. Alright guys, my question for today's episode. Right now in the Premier League, things are very tight at the top of the table between Manchester City and Arsenal. So I'm asking for a little prediction from you. Who will win the Premier League this season? Do you see Arsenal? Do you see City? Or maybe someone coming up from behind and getting ahead of both teams? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this and if you found this useful, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It helps me out a lot and it makes sure you get all the latest content from Fluent Football. Have a good one. See you next time.